Welcome back, everyone. Buckle up, because today's courtroom moment is something special. We re-stepping into the courtroom of one of my all-time favorite judges to watch, Judge Fletcher. Yesterday, a self-proclaimed sovereign citizen took the stand, and from the very first exchange, it was obvious this wasn't going to end the way the defendant imagined. Judge Fletcher walked in fully prepared, calm, precise, and razor-sharp, systematically dismantling every recycled argument without missing a beat. This is one of those hearings where you don't want to blink. Every second is a masterclass in shutting down pure courtroom nonsense.
Good morning, Mr. Pendleton. Do you have a lawyer today? You are charged with unlawful carrying of weapons, also got the same charge. Picked up a fraud as well. I mean, okay, you can represent yourself as opposed to right. I mean, I don't know how smart it is to get to represent yourself in court. How did that go? For what's in the case? You represented yourself? In this court? Oh, well, I found no problem with cause. That's why you yourself. I found, what was it me? Well, I don't know. I think it was you. I found no problem. You didn't represent yourself for nothing, man. I did it. No. Okay. So, well, whatever.
Here's exactly why I love Judge Fletcher so much. He doesn't sugarcoat anything. He sees a situation for what it is, calls it out in real time, and never hesitates to say exactly what is Sioni's mind. And what he saw yesterday was a self-represented sovereign citizen who walked into court convinced he'd cracked some secret legal code. Spoiler alert, he hadn't. Judge Fletcher sized him up almost instantly, and from that moment on, it was obvious this was about to turn into a full-blown reality check fast. Direct and impossible to ignore.
If you want to represent yourself, entitled to it, right? But, yeah. Well, I like to help people like brain surgery. You know, are you going to do that yourself? Because you're not trained. You know, you don't know how to perform surgery. Same thing with you. You know, you're not trained in it. I mean, I'm assuming. How hard is it? How far did you get? Okay, so we're in the middle of trial now, so I don't have time to look at all Beretta warnings to see whether you should represent yourself. Happy to do that. Why don't we delay it off for a week? Are you working at this time? Yeah, and I'm awesome. What do you do for work? Doing what? For audio production. Ready to make it work. We're taking all of your answers. You know, not only that, but you going off to represent yourself, DAs on basis evidence that still require you just quite a bit. Before I do that, though, I need to have this ready. If you're willing to wait later, trial. Just from my last period. You should go up there when you're done. Don't forget to come back. Don't come back. Go take care of yourself.
At this point, the defendant is briefly excused to handle matters in another courtroom, but the moment he returns, things take a serious turn. Now it is time for a Ferretta. Hearing the legal gut check to determine whether he is actually competent to represent himself. And trust me, this is where the real fireworks start. Everything he thought he knew is suddenly put under a very bright spotlight, and it doesn't hold up the way he expected.
Are you ready? Alright, so today is September 11th, 2024, approximately 12:25 p.m. We are now in Court 5. In front of me, I have two Imiton, case number 252288. Would you please identify yourself? Would you please raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth? that you're going to tell the truth. Yes? State which identify. Okay. So, the reason that we're putting this on the record now is Mr. Cunningham was charged with the offense of lawful carrying of weapons. The case is 40 days old. Here, that probable cause has been found. I don't know if I did this with. I don't know if another judge did. Don't remember Mr. Cunningham. That was probably lollygagging. So let's just do it. Okay. On tree offers. Explain all about the law. The logo. Colon. So, as a result, that he was charged with felony on the check. Okay. Yes, he has an open case on the one second, like pay a $50,000 bond. Thus, I am going to find probable cause for. Well, hold on a second. We'll get there. I'll let you say your piece, but do you have a case shovel? U.S. property number. Jack, from the state of Texas or from where? Okay. If you still need a registration vehicle. Okay. From what I know of the law, you need to execute the law. That was me. What do you do? It's criminal. Yeah. Right. You're facing jail time, right? Weren't you taken to jail? So that wouldn't lead you to. Right? Yeah, but on the common law, or because also we're probably waiting for so much fun.
And this is where it really gets good. Because the last thing a sovereign citizen ever wants is a judge who isn't intimidated. A judge who's heard the script before, recognizes it instantly, and responds with pure disbelief. Judge Fliawasante Hustamosait. He looked genuinely delighted, like he'd been waiting for this exact moment. You can almost see it. He's ready to walk the defendant straight through every bogus claim, every recycled talking point, and every pretend gotcha. Step by step. Calmly, publicly, and with absolutely no way out.
What I'll be interested in, leave us not the registration or like I do have my own.
You need a license to drive. You either have one, or you don't. The federal government is regulated in the states through the Constitution. They have allowed the states, on their own initiative, to create laws regarding driving on highways and byways. So that's why you see every single state requirements for licensing, insurance, mode of transportation. The federal government has somewhat to do with it. By and large, they've delegated to the states. They are their own entity with regard to creating laws in their specific highways. So that's why every single state has a license with this type of insurance, like Texas driver license, white versus That saw might be yellow or red, white, like, so that every single state has its own laws. Texas, you have to have a Texas driver license. You also have liability insurance minimum, even tax. Those are the two main requirements to drive. If you're going to drive a vehicle, it also has to be registered. So they know if you're driving a vehicle, own it, or have the right to have that, so it's not stolen.
I only did when I was getting myself shut. You say it was 5 weeks. License plate and fine.
It doesn't apply. It applies to everybody has to have a back license. They also have to have a front. In so much, they also tell you where it has to go. Or they regulate the windshield. They tell you where it has to be. You can't put it on the windshield. You can't put it on, like on what they call on the light. It's got to be right there. They're telling you how to be from the street to the actual place in the car. So that's how bad the state of Texas micromanages. They even tell you how many damn centimeters you have to be on the car. So you don't have to have a front license. You got to have a license. You have insurance. So if you don't have that, you can't drive.
I was arguing. I was making conversations with her. How the vehicles are. They know how
Correct. You have to need a license. It doesn't matter whether you say you're staying, traveling, whether you, driving. It's a privilege, not a right. There's a big difference between privilege versus a right. You have the right. Yeah, take your go left. You want to travel? Take those. Travel, not the car. You do. Yes, you can walk your happy ass from one phone to the other. Not with that.
And then came the coldest line of the entire hearing. Judge Flecker looked him straight in the eye and said, "If you want to travel, walk your happy self anywhere you like, Jess. Not in a car or behind the wheel." Boom. Brutal. Direct. Effortlessly funny. It was one of those perfectly timed reality checks that lands instantly. And moments like that are exactly why people can get enough of watching this judge in action.
Cherry,
Well, I'm just telling you now, they're wrong. Whoever told you that, whoever, where you got that. Like, imagine this, Tom, and I've seen this. Imagine that you get into an accident and you kill a 5-year-old kid. What's going to happen at that point? Whoever owns that car, the other people, they're going to come after you. They're not going to go after you. They're going to come after you. The first thing they're going to do is, do you have insurance? If you don't have insurance, they want to sue you, and then they're going to attach a lien on absolutely everything that you own to satisfy the petition against you. And they will take the house, the car, they will take the bank account, they will attach to where if you ever want to stop what you do, you've gone through all that money to have insurance, liability insurance. If you ever get into an accident, you don't need to do it. You don't need to do it. It's not a good accomplishment. Accidents happen. You might be looking at your phone, you're looking at the street, driving on the street, and boom, have insurance so that if that happens, the insurance company will pay on your behalf, so you don't have to pay everything. And they will even give you a lawyer to represent you on your behalf. You pay for when you get you get into an accident. Lawyers usually call and say, "Hey man, tell me what happened. It's your fault. It's the other people's fault. We want to know." And that's why $30 to $40 a month insurance for that very things. And I've seen companies, they kill someone and they get a $200,000 insurance. you'll never dig yourself out. So conveying this, that, you gotta have insurance. Look at what other people like that.
Safe call on position of marijuana. I was in the vehicle. The officer wasn't seeing it. I hadn't seen the person. She got through the door. Pull me out the car.
Now, now you're looking at snoring. Now, we understand that takes time, but you also need a lawyer to represent you.
How long was up?
You can do that if you want, but we have to go through a series of questions.
Cases here.
Remember, and this is the record. So, Em and Tom had the case with me here. May, it's actually June 7th, 2022. He was charged with another gun case, and that was Victor Toriani. And I found no probable cause. So you didn't represent yourself in it. I found no probable cause. They didn't have to. He didn't. So, other than that case, if you ever represent yourself,
It's outside. It's get involved. Having violations.
you're welcome to do it. And one of the worst, one of the best presidents that you can think about. You can't think of one good president that we've ever had. Abraham Lincoln, one good. Abraham Lincoln said something because you know what? He who represents himself.
And to top it all off, he's representing himself, which somehow manages to make the situation even worse. There is nothing more dangerous than someone armed with total confidence and absolutely no understanding of the law trying to play attorney in a real courtroom. Every word out of his mouth just digs the hole deeper. Instead of helping himself, he's actually making the judge's job easier. It-s. The perfect example of why representing yourself isn't brave or clever it-s. Usually just self-sabotage in a suit.
Meaning that when you represent yourself, there is an inherent conflict, there's an inherent bias, and you may not be able to see. Meaning that you have your heart and your soul into this case, so you may not be able to see from an outside position if they're saying something. You're absolutely entitled to this. If you want to do that, you're more than welcome to. I have no problem with it. You need to understand though, you represent yourself. You can't come at a later date and say, you know what? I had ineffective resistance to counsel. My lawyer sucked. You represented yourself, and now, like, if you go to trial and you lose, and I end up putting you in jail for a year, you're stuck like Chuck for a whole year. Because that's what you're facing. You're in jail, and you got a bunch of other documents to that. So, let's do this. Let's do the question. So, what is your phone?
She's right there.
How old are you? Where were you born?
America.
You were born here in Houston. You were born in. Okay. You read and write English. Do you have any learning disabilities? Handicaps? Have you ever been declared mentally incompetent for any mental health? Okay. You said last time I asked you about your educational background, you graduated from college. How far did you get in college? Did you get to any? Did you do any legal courses?
Then after the transportation, I just don't have any
sitting in college.
So I
do you have any legal training, education, or any other legal? Do you know about the code of criminal procedure? Do you know about the tax field?
I believe that has nothing to do with application.
Were you here for our earlier trial?
No,
I know you were the zone, but we were in trial earlier. Did you see what happened earlier? Okay. What I'm trying to say is that the lawyers on both sides have issues on this. There's a specific procedure that you have to follow to have evidence in it. It's detailed in the codes. You have to know that. Because once you represent yourself, I'm going to treat you as if you were a lawyer. I'm going to hold you to the same standard. And I'm not here to teach you law. I have way too much drama as you know, right? So if you don't do it the right way, I'm going to shut you down. Right? I like to be nice to people. I'm not. Do you understand that? Do you understand the charges? Okay, you're charged with unlawful carrying of a weapon, facing up to a year in jail. What they're saying is that you unlawfully had a weapon. As a result, you're charged, and now you're facing up. Do you understand?
Yeah, we can tell them. You know, that's why I went to jail.
What do you not understand?
Court procedures or
No. I'm asking about the nature of the charge. No, don't talk about the procedures. Don't talk about the licensing, about the conveying. You understand that?
going on.
You have the right, or you understand the range of consequences. You have the right to court-appointed counsel. Do you want counsel to represent you?
No, that's only.
If I offer you a lawyer now, would you want? You really don't want a lawyer?
And that line perfectly sums up why representing yourself in court is almost always a disaster. When you're convinced you know best, your own bias clouds your judgment. You miss critical details, make awful strategic decisions, and confidently walk straight into mistakes that were completely avoidable. And sooner or later, that overconfidence collides with reality, usually in the form of a judge like Judge Fletcher, who calmly, methodically, and very publicly reminds you just how far out of your depth you really are.
If you understand, you will not be able to claim counsel if you lose at a later time, whether it's a trial, whether it's a hearing, whether. Do you understand that? What that means is that it's not a good thing. If you're found guilty, you go to jail. You know, a lot of lawyers, a lot of things saying, sorry guys, a lot of lawyers, a lot of things like to blame their lawyers for screwing up. And they say, hey man, my lawyer messed up. I can tell you, like, that's the number one thing that defendants complain about. And probably, I don't know this for sure, but it's probably the number one reason why cases are overturned. Counsel meaning that a lawyer, for one reason or another, messed up. He messed up so bad, cases have to be redone. You cannot complain about it all the time. But if you mess up, you cannot. Do you understand? Once, and if you were found, that's it. You understand? You also have to comply with the same appellate procedures and rules, meaning that if you want to appeal from one reason to the other, you understand the guideline, the timing, and you have to comply with those rules. You understand? You will not be granted any special consideration for your lack of formal training. You understand this? You may fail to properly raise points of error in the trial if we go to trial. Meaning that we go to trial, you object to something. Because you hear that a lot, right? I object. This shouldn't be in there. You have to object properly. You can't just say object. There has to be more to it. You have to state the reason for the objection. It has to be a legal reason. You can't just say, I object. You have to give the legal reason. And there's a proper method that you have to state and ask me to do things for it to be recognized on appeal. And if you don't know this, you cannot at a later date complain. Well, I didn't know. Understand? You still don't want a lawyer? We'll give you a free lawyer. Is this voluntarily, knowingly, and intelligent to me? No one's forcing you to do this. Okay. Knowing all this, are you sure that you still want to represent yourself? Look, I got to tell you, I think that you look like a good guy. You look like you're outstanding. I have no problems with that you represent yourself. Understand that you need to be careful what you tell them. Everything that you say, even if you think you're hurting yourself by admitting one thing or the other, you're hindering your case. Meaning hurting your case, even if it's helping you. Do you understand? I'll make you a deal. If at any time you want a lawyer, all you gotta do is know. Really. Do you ever feel like you're under the gun? Do you feel like someone's taking advantage of you? I'll give you a lawyer. I want you to understand now, as a condition of your bond, I'm warning you not to walk until you have a Texas driver license and liability insurance. I'm ordering you not to drive. And I'm going to have you sign with me today an affidavit promising you're not going to drive. I find that you drive. You understand? You are not allowed to get to the driving seat of a car and drive. They travel however you want to determine it. Do not do that. And if I find that you do that, I'm going to put you in jail. And I'm going to make the bond so high, it's going to stop the use of the bond. Do you understand? No. But I'm telling you that you can't drive today, get into the driver's seat of the car, you do this. That will revoke your bond.
Honestly, it's hard to tell whether the defendant absorbed any of it at all, and I wouldn't be surprised if he walked in mentally checked out from the very start. No matter how many times Judge Flecker broke it down in plain English, the message just wasn't landing. You can practically feel the judge's patience wearing thin with every explanation. Each one met by the same blank stare and recycled nonsense. And that's when it becomes clear the issue isn't a lack of clarity. It's a refusal to understand.
The only conditions I'm putting on you now are 3. No weapons. No picking up new case. So, to the driver's seat of a car and drive. Do they travel? Are there any other adjectives? I guess I'll etc. so that it tries to cover any type of wording. All right. So, Mr. Emitom, I'm going to find that you are okay to represent yourself. We need you to sign a form. You're going to do that. If you don't consent, just go. If you don't think we have jurisdiction, look. If I didn't think anyone had jurisdiction over me without me here, if I was in your shoes, hell no, man. If I didn't think that someone didn't have jurisdiction over me to be anywhere, I'm not going to get out, take a shower, put my clothes on. I'm not doing anything. So if you don't think we have it, just go. Otherwise, you will do it. You will do it. Right? If you, let me ask you this. If you just took off now, what would happen? There you go. What does that warrant mean? What does it mean? As far as jurisdiction, do you think that, do you think that an officer is going to go out and actually pick someone up they didn't think they had jurisdiction to? Do you know how much trouble they would get in? Do you know, if Stephen went out there and arrested someone now, do you know how much trouble he would get in? He had no reason. You know how much trouble he would get in? A lot. He'd lose his job. He'd probably get sued. Right? Can't claim immunity. He toast. Swiss cheese. That's what I'm saying. If you didn't really think that we didn't have jurisdiction, no.
that it took care of his matter.
Did you know we have jurisdiction?
So lawful and constitutional things we did from the time. So I was taking the and but they had jurisdiction.
I would wait to see how the case goes before you do that. You know, see how the case goes before you start jumping stuff like that. You know, but ultimately, you know, if I didn't think anyone had jurisdiction, I have enough working to do in my life. You can put it in. Let's now here we go. You know what I mean?
And this is exactly why it's so refreshing to watch Judge Flecker at work. He strips away all the nonsense and breaks everything down in the simplest possible. So simple that even the most committed sovereign citizen should be able to follow it. The logic couldn't be more straightforward. If you can walk away and nothing happens, then sure, you might argue the court has no jurisdiction over you. But if you leave and end up arrested and thrown in jail, that question gets answered immediately. The court does have jurisdiction. No theories, no fantasy law, just reality. And with that perfectly grounded explanation, that's a great place to wrap things up. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to subscribe, hit like, and drop a comment below with your thoughts. Your support really helps the channel, and you won't want to miss what's coming next.